What's up, YouTube? This would be part 1 of the rust repair on the '87 Ford Escort. Pulled all the paneling off, which, let me just say, everything in this car overlaps, but eventually we did get this main panel off, so that's all well and good. And after we pulled that off, I got to see the true monster. All this insulation came off, and this is just a stiff rubber plastic mess with looks like the padding they put under carpets, basically. And this was moist when I pulled it out, so it's holding moisture in, which was probably contributing to the crazy rust factor. Anyway, as you can see, I have a bit of a rust problem. And I think my plan of attack is, what I'm going to do probably is I got to obviously cut out some of the metal. Let me get up in here. I'm going to have to cut out metal, probably roughly where those blue lines are. Probably going to go a little closer. That was just a rough worst case that I drew. I got two little holes here too. And what I'm going to do is probably cut a panel out, a long rectangle, and it would be welded from here to here. And then I cut another rectangle out and weld it from up here to over here. And then finally another rectangle here to here. And yeah, and I might do a little bit because there's an inner fender too. I might try to work with that a bit. Maybe make a couple pieces for that, because the more metal the merrier. This is a lot more rust than I thought there was going to be, though. So, unfortunately, my 20 gauge I bought is probably not going to be enough. So I went under the house where I keep all my crud, scrap metal and what have you, and grabbed this piece. And this is off of an old Barbie. And where it's a little lighter than 20 gauge. I don't know, maybe, I don't know if it comes in 26, but that would be my guess. And I'll use that probably for the top bit, because that's not that structural. If I run out, I'll use as much of this 20 gauge as I can get, but we'll see. I also grabbed these two because, as you can see, there is a bit of structural metal missing, because this is my shock absorber right there. So I'm going to probably either under or over the sheet metal. Give me your suggestion of what you think would be better. Put some braces with some real thick metal, because this is thick steel, and this is even thicker monster piece of steel. And I thought about putting that one like up here somewhere, but regardless, so I got all that to play with, and I can produce some angle iron and maybe a bit more scrap metal if I need to. Other things to mention is I'll show you it from the underside here. As you can see, I got a hole there, and then all that up in there. I got these holes too, which we'll need to I need to remember to pull the carpet, because it is not pulled yet down that far. But yeah, had to take off this here paneling, but as you can see, I have some other holes to attend to, but we'll get all that straightened out. And prime it. I'm going to use expanding foam in place of my insulator. Also have a hole up here I'm going to patch while I have all the metal out and I'm welding, might as well. And for this one, I'm just going to clean it up good. Cut a piece of strip to go from about here to about here. Tack weld it. This other small thing, I'm getting hopefully getting my valve cover pinstripe soon. Don't think there's any holes to patch on this side other than this guy, but I think I'm going to do that with Bondo. It's a little pinhole. And let's see, plans for getting the sheet metal to fit. I'm going to cut it in the rectangles or the appropriate shape. Drill a series of holes, and I did not come up with this, an old timer on YouTube did. I don't have his channel name though, unfortunately. I was on a mobile device and was just scamming the web. But drill holes around the edges of my rectangle, so when I bend it in the shape, I have a series of holes. Now these holes are not going to be big, these holes are not going to show through the other side of the car, but what that's going to allow me to do is where there's good steel to weld to, I can weld in these holes so I don't have to do a long bead, and it just looked like it worked right well. I'm also going to do a little bit of butt welding, you know, just flat up against it. We'll see how it goes. It's not going to be pretty, but luckily I have a good bit of space with that there panel that hides it, so I can make it as ugly and as thick and meaty as I really want, which is good. So I guess I'll conclude this with a question. This is obviously a pretty darn structural point in the car. being my shock absorbers here, and the weight of the car is back here. So, my question is, obviously this is getting pretty darn close to the shock absorber. Now, the metal here seems alright. Like, obviously, I'm probably lose a centimeter. Same with down here, it's all messed up. I mean, this is all just coming to bits. But, do you guys think that if I'm going to have to cut a bit of that crack out too, do you think I should be worried about, like, the shock popping through the floor here while I'm welding? Like, there's just too much force with that spring? Now, the car's obviously off the ground, so in my mind there shouldn't be. And secondly, once I'm done with this, I would think it would be stronger than it is now, but do you see that being a problem? Because, I mean, this metal here is thin as it can be, and honestly, it's in horrible shape. But, anyway, that's about it for me rambling today. I just thought I'd give you an update on that, and check you later, YouTube.